Greetings, Doc. How you been?
I'm well. How are you, mad dude?
How could you get a bigger pair of glasses?
I could.
Holy cow!
Maybe next
They
week.
good. What? They skiing glasses,
They're awesome. I can see everything.
and then some. You're like Geordie LaForge, for God's sakes. Jeez. You know, but his thing always reminded me. It looked like an air filter from an old car.
Star Trek reference.
Star Trek. Yeah, I like Trek.
Trek.
Yeah. Just
Sci-
don't watch Section 31.
Sci-fi guy.
All right. That's beside the point. All right.
Hey.
So, we're here with this movie showcase, showing you movies from the past, the present, the future, and beyond. And we are the place to go to for independent movies.
Oh, so many independent movies.
We are so lucky that we got you guys out there to do the independent movies and send them up to us, and the boss has been putting them out there. We've only rejected one. No, we didn't. Now, we ended up showing that one.
Did we show that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you know. But hey, most of them are really good. Don't get discouraged. So, I haven't seen the boss, so I assume he's doing administrative stuff today.
Paperwork,
man.
You got to remember where you put them.
Yeah, tax time's coming.
Somebody's got to come around and go, hey, where's, and if you don't know the lot number.
Yeah, but you know what? That's good. If he's doing administrative stuff, I picked up something for us for St. Patrick's Day.
Get out here.
All right, man. A little bit of Guinness. They say drink it from the can, but I prefer the chalice because I'm a king.
He is a king. Heavy weighs the crown.
Heavy wears the crown that wears the king.
Well, thank you, Matt D.
You're very welcome. All right. Happy St. Patty's Day.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
All right. I got my St. Patrick's Day Viking shirt. All right.
Oh, that's... I'll never forget my first Guinness. There I was, jolly old England.
In England.
Yeah, London, England, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at this Tavistock Hotel. The Tavistock.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. It was like all Art Deco. This was year 2000. And I thought, I'm going to have a Guinness. So I went up to the bar at the hotel. And there was a young lady behind the bar. And I said, can I have a Guinness? And she spoke to me in real English. Couldn't understand a dang word she said. I said, I'm sorry, could you say that again? And she spoke to me again in real English. Nothing.
Sucks how they ruin the English language.
She didn't even sound like one of the Beatles. I mean, I could not understand a single word. So
She didn't sound like the
I
Beatles.
I apologized again. I'm just a dumb American. And I said, I'm sorry. I don't speak English. I'm an American. Can you say that slowly? She needed to see my room key, my receipt.
Mm-hmm.
Because, see, the bars in the pubs closed down at 10 o'clock.
Really?
And if I didn't have a room at the hotel, they could not serve me there.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It keeps all the riffraff
It
out.
keeps the riffraff out. Nice hotel.
Wow. All the bars close at 10?
My-
With the drinking culture in England?
Yeah, it was weird.
God, man.
It was weird.
I know.
One more quick story about London, England. You know, we went on a Jack the Ripper walk while we were there.
Really?
They take you to the different murder sites in the White Castle. And we stopped at the Nine Bells, it's called.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pub. It was open back then. And
Wow.
it was lit by candlelight. It was really cool. Like going back in time.
Did you know that there's a documentary called Bloodlines out where the guy who they think is Jack the Ripper is buried in cemetery in Derby?
No way.
Swear to God.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? The documentary is called Bloodlines. It was on the History Channel. And just one day, right? I was literally cruising, right? It's a different graveyard. It's not ours, right?
Not our graveyard.
But I was cruising through the graveyard, 'cause, right? It's in the back end of Darby, honest, right? And there was a film crew there. So what do? Right? I pull the chariot over. I hop out. I'm checking out what's going on, and one of the guys, there was a guy that runs the cemetery there, right? He comes in, he's like, "Can I help you?" I said, "Well, what's going on here?" And he tells me that they're literally digging up the grave, right, of this guy who was a murderer in Chicago, right? And then fled Chicago, went to England, became Jack the Ripper, and he was a mass murderer in Chicago, right? Went to England, became Jack the Ripper, and then when it was getting too hot, he came back in Philadelphia, right? He killed somebody, and then I think somebody killed him, right? And then they started running DNA, and the guy who made the movie, right, the DNA showed that it was his part of his family DNA, right? And then that's when he went on the quest to try to figure out what it was, found out about his uncle or his great uncle who was a murderer. Oh, great stuff.
Cool, very
right?
cool.
So you got to see the tour, right? And I got to see them dig them up.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Anyway.
Hey, the boss should be calling in.
Well,
right?
it's better be calling.
We should keep going.
You can't see this. Which that kind of
just-
good. Oh, there he goes. Oh, wow. 1925 film classic silent movie, Phantom of the Opera, the original.
You know, this movie gave so many people nightmares back then.
Man, who's in that?
Lon Chaney.
Lon Chaney Sr.
The father?
But he wasn't senior yet.
No, not then.
No. Wow.
Yeah, and for those not in the know, Lon Chaney Jr. changed his name when he hit Hollywood.
Okay.
He was originally Crichton Chaney.
Oh, so he wanted to live off his dad's name.
He wanted that little boost.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you got to figure his dad had a pedigree, right?
He did.
His dad was in Hunchback,
right?
Right, and
Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera.
Oh
God.
From Zanzibar or something it was called.
Wasn't he the guy? We're going to go on about this, but Lon Chaney, he was the man of a million faces.
That's what they called him. Yeah. Man of 1,000 faces.
1,000 faces. Wow.
Yeah, and they actually made a movie about his life and his career, and James Cagney played. Yeah, it's probably the worst casting ever.
No, the worst casting ever was John Wayne as Genghis Khan. But
Okay,
yes,
that was bad.
I will go with
second
Jimmy
worst.
Cagney.
Second worst. James
Oh
Cagney.
my
yes,
God, that's funny, man. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this. Let's see what notes he said. Oh man. All right. So 1925 American silent film horror adaptation of Gaston Leroux's novel of the same name, directed by Rupert Julian and starring the immortal Lon Chaney in the title role of the deformed phantom who haunts the Paris Opera House, causing murder and mayhem in an attempt to make the woman he loves a star. The film remains the most famous for Chaney's ghastly, self-devised makeup, which he kept a studio secret until the film's premiere. Wow!
Yeah, nobody saw what the Phantom looked like until the Phantom was unmasked.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It is very cool. He used wires, hooked his nose, and gave him a skull-like. Yeah, just.
Oh man.
It sounded very painful. Very painful.
Do you remember the old Aurora models?
Yes.
Right. I had the Phantom.
Yeah, where he's holding the mask up.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was perfect. And his face and the mask glowed in the dark, and the rest didn't.
Yeah.
See?
Cool stuff.
Yeah. Another 70s reference most of you people won't get.
Look it up.
But look it up.
Google it.
All right. So, think the kids can watch it?
Oh, yes. The kids can watch it. They may be a little bit creeped out. It may not hold their interest because it is a silent film.
Yeah.
But It's art. It's art taking place. It's moving pictures. It's so cool.
It's our third silent movie, and we have not had a trashy silent movie yet.
No.
I'm telling you. Phantom of the Opera, it's great. It's like I said, it has some gothic horror, right? And, you know, if they to make them watch it, take their phones.
Oh, there you go.
Force them to watch it, because this movie is, like Doc said, a work of art. You guys are gonna love it.
The scene in the sewers with the boat.
Oh man.
Yeah. So cool.
Okay, so grab your popcorn.
Popcorn.
Right? Get yourself a Guinness. Right?
Guinness.
And let's celebrate St. Patrick's Day with the Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera.
You're right. This does taste
It
really
goes
good.
down
Oh,
so
man.
smooth.
Down here. So, how do you usually celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
Funny story. Growing up, we were always told that we're Irish, and this went on for just about 2 years ago. My brother had a DNA test, ancestry kind of thing.
And he's not your brother?
Nah, he's my brother.
Oh,
but
okay.
Turns out that we're only 3% Irish, and we were told, you know, growing up, we're actually more Scottish than anything else.
Oh, well, that's Irish.
But how we celebrate? Normally we have a few adult beverages, corned beef and potatoes and some what are those little Irish potato candies.
Irish potatoes.
They're so good.
Coconut wrapped in cinnamon.
Oh, yummy.
My cavities are falling out thinking about it.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Oh, my grandmother, right? She's the Irish side, right? And she had a saying: bend the knee before you bend the elbow.
Gotta pray. Gotta go to church.
What does that mean? She insisted that St. Patrick was a saint and not a bartender. So on St. Patrick's Day, right, I leave my Odinism at home. I go out to Mass in the morning, right? And it's kind of neat because at the church that's in the town that I'm in now, right, I go there St. Patty's Day and that's about it. But the priest really does a good job, right, of talking about St. Patrick's Day and how he chased the snakes out. He does a really good job every year with it, and I love it. So if St. Patty's Day is on a Wednesday, it's on a Sunday, it's on a random Thursday, right, I go to Mass, right, to make Grandma Callahan happy.
Very cool.
Right? But I loved, when I was a kid, I never understood when she said Patrick was a saint, not a bartender, right? My two uncles, right, Uncle Jimmy and Uncle George, God bless their souls, they're warriors up in heaven now, right? Those two boys could throw down some beers. And on St. Patrick's Day, my grandmother would make sure that they went to church in the morning before they went out that day. And it was funny, man.
You know, St. Patrick was not Irish.
He was English.
He was English.
Yeah. He was not Italian, but he was a Roman.
He went to the island to convert the heathens to Christianity.
And he tried with us.
And get rid of the snakes.
Why did he drive the snakes out of Ireland?
I don't know.
Because they couldn't walk.
He put him in the back of his truck.
His paddy wagon.
Oh!
Wow, it's off the top of my head with that one.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
So let's talk about this movie, right?
Let's talk about it.
So we already talked about Rupert Julian, right? He was the director, right? He directed 60 films and acted in over 90, right? He's best remembered for Phantom of the Opera with Lon Chaney, right? He also directed The Cat Creeps.
Ooh, that's
right. And then he did one, it was a remake of The Cat and the Canary. I'd never heard of that. I'll have to look that one up. All right, and that's considered a law. Ooh, okay. So he made a remake of The Cat and Canary, which is now considered a lost film, with only 2 minutes of footage remaining in the 1932 Universal comedy short film Boo. Oh, okay. So, Cat and the Canary, the whole movie's out there. The movie Boo, there's only 2 minutes of footage left. Now, way back when, there was a big fire at Universal, right back in the 30s.
Knocked out so much film.
Oh my God.
All that history gone.
Gone, you know. What was the one movie? The Nosferatu? Nosferatu. Thank God somebody saved a copy. Even though they had to burn the ones that were made, right? Because they weren't allowed to show it anymore. And then any extra copies got burned in the Universal fire.
Okay.
But somebody had a copy.
Yeah.
Right? Now that copy is in the Congress Library of Congress. Right. The more you know. All right. So, starred Lon Chaney, not yet senior because he didn't have a kid yet, right? Now, his parents were deaf, right? But he became an actor, right, and an owner of a theater company, right, with his brother John. And the reason why he went into like acting and all that is even though his parents were deaf, he had to do the sign language. He had to act a lot of things out.
You're pantomime.
So exactly. So he got used to, enunciating with his hands and all that, which is perfect for an actor, right? So him and his brother bought this movie theater company, right? He made his first debut in the movies in 1912, right? He's famous for horror movies like Quasimodo in Humpback Notre Dame, 1923. He was known as the Man of 1,000 Faces, right? He only filmed one movie with sound, right? It was a remake of one of his early movies called The Unholy Three, which I have to look up to.
Good movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, good movie.
Right? His son, Lon Chaney Jr., became a famous actor of the horror genre. Now, Lon Chaney Sr. is known as Man of 1,000 Faces. Were it not for his death, he would have been Dracula, right? Over Bela Lugosi.
1931 Dracula. He would have been up for the part.
Yep. The director, Todd Brown, he wanted him bad, right? Now, he never showed his face in public. He always wanted to be anonymous out of the film, right? Because he didn't want people to see him. And in every one of his movies, right, he was the master of disguise.
He transformed himself.
It was amazing.
Amazing.
You would never know who he was, right, if you saw him on the street. Because he never went out as Lon Chaney, right, without his makeup on. So that was pretty cool. All right. So, we'll be back.
We're back. Hey, we're back.
What do you think it is so far?
It's
oh
art.
my God.
It's beautiful.
It's a work of art. It's classic.
Yeah.
Right? So, how about when the ballerinas are walking up and down the winding steps, right? They were all in sync, right? And it just looked like a waterfall of white ballerinas coming down the steps. And when they came in, like at the bottom of the dungeon,
right,
or the bottom of the theater, right? They came in. They all kind of walked in sync and danced around. And they were, even though they weren't on the stage, they were still walking around their tippy toes.
They were dancing. Through the whole scene. That
when they're telling the guy that ran the theater, right? And they're telling him
saw the ghost.
Saw the ghost. And while they're telling him, they're all excited. A couple are up spinning around. A couple of ones are like this. They're jumping up and down. It was like they're not just ballerinas on stage. They're ballerinas all the time. It was cool. That special effect with them coming down the steps.
Yeah,
it looked like a waterfall. I thought it was totally cool. It was like a river coming down the steps. Now, notice that his mask is completely different than the masks they have today. Because the masks they have today, it's always like a half face. So it's sort of like Buckus here, right? It's like a half face for his mask, right? This one was his whole face, and then
there was a curtain.
There's a curtain for his mouth.
Yeah.
Right. And and then when he took his mask off, oh my God, he got a case of the Uggs.
Oh, that scene was pretty awesome because she snuck up close to him. She's about ready to take the mask off. She's sneaking up. Tension builds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then she's like, ah!
Gaze upon my accursed ugliness.
You got a case of the Uggs. Ugly. Says
Oh, yeah.
brute. Yeah.
He made me look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He does.
Now, I also enjoyed a lot of the placards that came up, right?
Yes.
Because at the bottom of each one, they had like a name, right? And it was like the person who was saying it was supposed to be,
Okay.
right? But it was like ... and the person's name. So I think, right, and I have to look it up. I think that was the person, one of the writers of the script,
Okay.
who wrote that line, right?
That's cool.
And it was just like, like Jane Bag of Donuts,
Right.
right? I thought that was pretty cool. They gave people credit for that, all right? But this spurned so many spin-offs, right? For the Family Opera, the musical, right? I actually saw it on Broadway with
I
my son.
went to Broadway to see it too.
Yeah.
Mrs. drug me along.
Was that cool when the came rising out?
Yeah, not a fan
piano?
of musicals myself, but the set was just amazing. How they did the boat and the fog and
Oh,
the Phantom, and I was impressed.
Yeah. My son was in the plays when he was in middle school, and that was their class trip for the guys in the plays, right? And I got to go as a chaperone. I wish I was doing this back then, because there was so much material we could have had. Because just walking in, it was like a museum to the Phantom, because it ran on Broadway for years, right? And then when the movie, the Phantom musical came out, right? That was pretty good too. I even watched that a couple times, right? And I'm not a big musical guy, right? But Helga made me watch it, right? And I thought I liked it. And then The Little Warrior dragged me up to New York to see it. I liked it. It was cool, right? But other than that, right? How many copycat movies?
Oh, I don't know. There's a bunch of them. I know Claude Rains was in a remake, and he played a pretty good Phantom. There was a lot of opera in that one. Herbert Lom was in a remake. He played a dirty, dingy Phantom. That was kind
really?
of, yeah. His mask was dirty.
What year was that one?
His wounds. I believe that may have been like 55 to 60, somewhere around there.
Okay.
But it was like he was gangrenous, like he was actually dying from gangrene by living down in that. He's my favorite Phantom, Herbert Lom.
Yeah.
There's the ones in the 70s. Kiss?
Oh, Kiss.
Kiss at the
Phantom of the Amusement Park. Ton of spinoffs, right? There was Phantom of the Paradise, the rock and roll version.
Paul Williams is in that one.
Oh, not Paul Williams.
Yeah,
He's in that, and he was in Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
He was in the Burt Reynolds one.
Cannonball Run.
Cannonball Run and Smokey and the Bandit.
Smokey and the Bandit.
He was little.
Yeah, he was the little guy who bet them that they couldn't move the. Yeah.
That guy.
All
right. There was Horror Planet, so Phantom of the Horror Planet, right, and Phantom of the White House. I have not seen that, but I am looking for that.
When you find it, let me know. That sounds interesting.
So, Phantom of the White House, according to the paperwork I was looking at, right, is one of the presidents died in the White House, right, and it was a nobody president, right. It was probably the guy from Lancaster. I can't think of his name. Taylor.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, and he's haunting the White House, right? And he falls in love with the current president's daughter, right? And it all just got crazy after that. So I'm looking for, that's what it says in the write-up. So I'm looking forward to that.
You've got mail.
Oh, we got jokes.
All right, we got jokes.
We got Vivian Callahan of Morton, Pennsylvania.
Morton.
All right, as opposed to Leston. So, why did the opera singer refuse to go to the gym? She didn't want to lose her high notes. I guess. Viv, what's up? What's an opera singer's favorite type of jewelry? A high C necklace. Don't get that. How do opera singers say hello with a grand aria? Hello! All right. What's the opera singer? Why was the opera singer good at baseball? She always hit the high notes out of the park. What do you call a dramatic opera singer? A melodrama queen. What opera singers do when they get lost? They follow the score. And why don't opera singers use elevators? They prefer the dramatic entrance of the stairs. Viv, buy a new joke book.
Crickets.
Crickets. Nah.
Crickets.
And we'll be back. The reason why you should watch this, right, is that the drama is great, the cinematography is great, the use of shadows when they're down in the river, in the sewer, right,
Yes.
paddling around, right, and then the use of shadows when he's trying to hide his face through all the scenes, right. It was fantastic. You can't do that original one in color.
Yeah.
Not at all. You can't, because the way they used the light and the dark, right, was fantastic.
Now, the end reel for this is in color. It's in like two-tone color.
Is it really?
Yeah, I'm not sure what version we're showing. I don't know. But yeah, the end reel is in color. When the Mask of the Red Death shows up at the ball, where he shows up, he's wearing a red robe.
Yeah.
And then later, he's on top of the Paris Opera House on the roof, and that scene's also in color.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, all right. So, we agree. It's a great movie.
Oh, it's awesome.
All right. How many tombstones?
Oh, 5.
5.
5.
All right.
5. If you're a horror fan, you have to do some history, some learning. This is a good place to start.
And this movie spurned so many other movies based on the same theme, right? And when you see that, watch this movie, right, and then you see other movies, you'll be surprised of how many other movies and shows and plays, right, and books have the same theme.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities. Like when everybody in town is chasing him down the street, it's very reminiscent of the torches and the pitchforks from like Frankenstein,
the Wolfman.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
If you watch when you watch this, take notice that when they're chasing him down the street, he'll stop. The Phantom stops, and he acts like he has something in his hand, and he's going to throw it at him, and all the town people stop, and they're aghast, they're scared. And he opens up his hand and there's nothing there, and he laughs at them, and they descend upon him. It's not good for him then, no.
But it breaks me up though. 1,000 people chasing him. He holds up his hand and they back off.
Back off.
It's 1,000 against 1. All right, that's Vikings. That's our odds. All right, but then again, if it's one berserker against 1,000, it's an even fight. Anyway, all right. So. I love this movie. You love this movie, right? I hope that the boss gets Hunchback. Lon Chaney's other famous movie is a classic, and I really can't wait to see that. Another movie that spurned a million other movies after that.
Yeah, and there are similarities between Phantom and Hunchback. Both the Phantom and the Hunchback are in love with the leading lady.
Yeah.
But the Hunchback is a much more sympathetic character.
Yeah, well, it wasn't his fault anyway.
No, he was just ugly.
Well, the Phantom was in jail.
The Phantom was evil. He was maniacal.
Yeah.
He hung people for crying out loud.
He was infamous.
Infamous.
Not famous, infamous.
No.
Today's word of the day. All right. So, let's see. Oh, we got a letter. All right. A letter from Lizzie Durr of Southwest Naples, Florida. Have you ever been to a Broadway play?
No. We talked about that.
We talked about that. We both saw Phantom.
That was the only one I've ever been to.
Only one in Broadway?
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, it's the only one in Broadway I've ever seen. I see a lot of plays locally.
There's a place close by called the Dutch Theater Players, and they do plays there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the dinner theater?
No.
Okay.
No, it's a little hole in the wall place. They got like stadium seat, bench seats, and I saw a murder mystery there. So it was good.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And we have one called the Barnstormers, which is it's in Delco, the other side of Darby, and they have a ton of little plays, and it's community theater, right?
Yeah.
I would rather go to a community theater, right, and watch a play, right, than spend like $200 to go see a play up in New York sometime.
Anytime you go into the city, it's going to cost you money for parking and tickets.
Now, and hey, in Brooklyn they haven't put it in yet, but if you're driving to Manhattan, you have to pay a driving fee license now.
Yeah, just to drive through.
Just to drive through Manhattan. That's... they will take every penny out of your pocket. The New York sales tax is what, 9% now?
It's crazy.
So you get paid and they take taxes out, right? Then when you go buy something, they take taxes out. Then the house you own, they tax you on that.
You never own that house.
No, it's, I hate taxes. That's why I pillage. All right. So, guys, if you guys want to see some cool stuff on TV, you want to hit the WON website or us out on Roku, right? We got a ton of stuff coming up. We got hockey, we got minor league baseball, we got bowling, we got the wrestling, right? Ton of new shows, ton of movie showcases, ton of horror hosts. You turn on WON, you ain't got to turn nothing else on. All right? You want to send us a letter? Send us a letter here to WON, at WON something. It's here. You guys can see it, right? Send us an email, right? Let us know if you like what we got going on, right? Something you want us to show, anything like that. We're starting to match. All right. If you want to see some of the stuff we do, you can hit hashtag Dr. Dread Reviews, right? This guy's all over the place. He's got Murder Table Monday. He's got Swamp Theater. He's got Murder Table Mondays at 5. He's got Swamp Theater on every now and then. And then he has Dr. Dread Reviews every Friday at 11:40 on the Monster Channel, another Roku app.
And the obit normally after 10 o'clock on Facebook.
The obit, yeah. And
hey,
then,
don't forget to check out this guy. He's with all the celebrities.
please.
There are a bunch of, independent artists in the Delco, Darby area. He knows them all.
Both of them.
His show is called Post-Apocalyptic Theater. And he'll do interviews, he'll do movie reviews, and he normally posts those up on, your Facebook and also on YouTube.
On YouTube, Instagram, put them everywhere.
So we're very entertaining.
Yeah.
Just ask us.
Yeah. And Cemetery Cinema has a Facebook page, has a YouTube page, and an Instagram page. And we just hit 1,500 followers on Instagram. Keep it coming, guys, all right? All right, dude, great week.
Great week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Sláinte to all my Irish friends.
Skull.
Skull.